Welcome back. In this lecture, we'll break down the core components of an advertising campaign, from setting objectives and strategies to defining the tactics that bring it all together. You'll learn how to use research to fuel your ideas, distinguish between features and benefits, and craft strong copy platforms. Let's get started. Let's begin with the three-part media strategy. Now, the three-part media strategy is important to consider in advertising. The first part of the strategy is paid media. This is any marketing you pay for to promote a product. This includes traditional ads like TV, radio, print, and billboards, as well as digital formats like banner ads and sponsored social media posts. While digital options are often more affordable, all paid media helps you gain visibility and reach your target audience quickly. The second part of the media strategy is owned media. This is content you create and control. You'll essentially share on channels that belong to your brand. This includes your website, blog, ebooks, mobile apps, and anything you post on your own social media accounts. It's a cost effective way to tell your story, build trust, and create long term value for your audience. Now, the third part of the media strategy is earned media. Essentially, this is the publicity you don't pay for. Advertising and PR practitioners love it. It includes brand mentions on news sites, blogs, influencer posts, and other platforms you don't own. These mentions are usually the result of strong paid and owned media efforts. Sometimes you'll ask permission to share them, but other times your product gets noticed and picked up organically. It's powerful because it's built on credibility and trust. Think about UGC content or user generated content. If you were to go to a store and purchase a product that you love, then give a review on Instagram, that's an example of earned media. Now, let's look at the different types of advertising. We'll start off with native advertising. Native advertising is when the ad is blended seamlessly with other content. It's designed to match the form and function of the platform it appears on, so it feels less like traditional ads. A good example: product placement in movies or sponsored articles that read like regular news stories. So think about an ad where one of the actors are holding, let's say, a can of Coke. That is product placement or native advertising. The goal is to engage the audience without disrupting their experience. On the other hand, traditional advertising includes newspapers, magazines, TV, radio, banner ads, and outdoor ads like billboards. It's one of the oldest forms of media and still a major player. In most campaigns, the largest portion of your budget will go toward traditional advertising because of its broad reach and high production cost. And then there's what we call Marcom, which is short for marketing communication. This often refers to non traditional forms of promotion. There's some debate about whether it counts as advertising, but integrated marketing communication, or IMC, brings everything together, traditional and non traditional, into one unified campaign. The goal is to raise awareness and boost the bottom line by any effective means necessary. In general, Markham uses a wide range of non traditional tactics to reach audiences in creative ways. This includes direct marketing, sales promotions, point of sale materials, content marketing, search engine optimization, and mobile and social advertising. It also covers experiential marketing, specialty items, and really anything you can stick your logo on. It's all about meeting your audience where they are, whether online, in store, or even in the palm of their hand. One of the biggest mistakes in campaign planning is jumping straight to tactics. This is where we begin to think about the ad or the platform first. Before anything else, you need to ask, what problem are we trying to solve? Every company that comes to you has a challenge. They might say, we want to sell more products, but that's the result, not the problem. Your job is to dig deeper and find the real issue behind the ask. If a brand wants to sell more products, you need to ask, what's getting in the way? Are there product issues, weak warranties, high prices, or even deeper problems like racial or gender bias? These are the pain points, and your campaign must address or work around them. Understanding the obstacles is the first step to creating solutions that actually move the needle. Here are some common challenges and how you might address them. If your paid search ad isn't appearing on page 1 of Google, you might need to raise your bid or research how much to pay to reach that spot. If your click through rate is low, ask yourself, are you targeting the right audience? Is your ad creative, compelling, or clear about the benefits? For paid search, use ad extensions to make your ad more clickable. For display ads, try adding motion or bright colors to help your ad stand out. Fixing these issues can significantly improve your campaign's performance. Now, I know in a previous lecture we spoke about the different people involved in the process, but let's go back for a moment to account planning. Now, the account planning team is responsible for digging into consumer behavior, gathering both qualitative and quantitative data. Their goal is to discover the consumer's sweet spot, the insights that connect brand and audience. Now, this groundwork is essential before strategies and tactics come into play. Ultimately, account planning helps craft messages that are believable, relevant, and actionable. Now, let's talk about the role of advertising in the buying process. Now, marketing, which is heavily tied to advertising, is often defined by the 4 Ps: product, place, price, and promotion. Advertising directors focus heavily on promotion. This is how to communicate and sell the product. But to be truly successful, you need to add a 5th P: people, your target audience. Understanding your audience is key to making every other element work effectively. Last week, you completed your surveys and even created your customer profiles. But in order to truly understand the audience deeply, we must do more. Now, in general, advertisers used the ADA model. Now, this model helps us understand the journey for the customer. Now, A is for attention. How do you stand out when people see hundreds of messages every day? Do you use powerful words or eye catching visuals? I is for interest. Once you have people's attention, you need to keep them engaged by focusing on what they want and need. Next is D for desire. Once people are interested, you need to make them truly want your product. Show them authentically how your product or service meets their personal needs and solves their problems. Finally, A is for action. What do you want your audience to do? Do you want them to visit your website, test drive a car, call for more information, or do you want them to buy now? Action is what drives your campaign success and ultimately the bottom line. Now, it might seem a bit time consuming to be collecting all of this information about the customer. However, in the end, you will see why it's completely necessary because your strategies and tactics will depend on it. Now, strategies describe what you want to do to achieve your campaign objectives. Ask yourself, what's your market position? Who are you targeting? And how will you segment your audience? Consider your brand, the creative, media, and digital strategies. Now, good strategies are clear and measurable so you can track your success. On the other hand, tactics, which we'll cover next, are the specific actions you take to bring these strategies to life. Your tactics essentially are tied to the strategic plan. Think of strategies as your blueprint and tactics as the tools you use to build it. Always remember this flow. Objectives lead to strategies, which guide your tactics. Tactics bring your plan to life and make your goals more achievable. So let me reiterate again. The first step in any campaign is to gather the facts, and this is where you are now. Use primary research like surveys like the one you completed last week or interviews to get first hand insights. Try ethnographic research by immersing yourself in the culture or environment of your audience. So, for example, if you're studying a particular brand, let's say Barnes and Noble at FIU, you might want to immerse yourself within the environment, right? Become a customer to learn more about the experience. You also want to use projective techniques. Now, this show images or words related to the product and ask consumers what they associate with them. Now, don't forget secondary research, existing data and reports that can confirm your strategy is crucial to this process. So, once you've gathered all your facts, you want to ensure that you're properly defining your audience. You identify the features and benefits of your product. You clarify your position. You align wants and needs with the product, and then you determine your call to action. Now, Table 2.2 in the chapter will help you to understand features and benefits and also how to align wants and needs. All right, so once you've done all of this, it's time to think about the creative brief. Now, a strong creative brief answers key questions to guide your campaign. What do you want to accomplish? That's your objective. Who are you talking to? Define your audience clearly. You're still in the process of refining this. What do they think now? You want to understand your brand's current position. What do you want them to think? So essentially, you want to decide if you're reinforcing or repositioning. Why should they think this? Highlight the product's features and benefits. And finally, what is the one key message you want to communicate? This brief keeps everyone aligned and focused. Cultural representation is one of the most recent additions to the creative brief, and it's critical. Ask yourself, is our message culturally appropriate? Have we missed any chances to be culturally relevant or inclusive? Strong campaigns reflect the real world, its diversity, nuance, and lived experiences. Essentially, representation matters both in message and in impact. All right, the next thing I want to explore in this presentation is the positioning statement. Now, the positioning statement is also known as the creative strategy statement, the one thing, the central truth, the big idea. Now, this is the foundation of your campaign message. It can be simple or detailed, depending on your approach. It should highlight your product's features and benefits, competitive advantages, and even its weaknesses. It includes key information about your target audience and the tone you'll use. In the end, it should boil down to one clear, overriding statement about the product. It is your guiding message. Now, if you could say just one thing about your brand or product, what would it be? This is the heart of your message. It should also reflect the essence of your target consumer and how it connects to the essence of your brand. This clarity will guide your tone, visuals, and strategy across the entire campaign. All right, so going back to the customer profile, some of you may be required to do some refining based on the feedback that I've provided. So let me go back to reiterate some of the key points discussed last week. Now, the customer profile, also known as the consumer profile or audience persona, puts a human face on your target audience. It combines demographics like age, location, and income with psychographics like values, lifestyles, attitudes, and media habits. You want to ask yourself, who is your audience? What do they want or need? What are their buying intentions and attitudes towards your brand or competitors? Think about their job, hobbies, where they live, and how that shapes how they shop and use media. Now, again, you started this process last week. So I want you to go back and use these questions to refine and strengthen your profiles as you move forward. And if you're looking to sharpen your branding and strategy skills, check out Brand Master Academy on YouTube. It's a great resource for breaking down complex marketing concepts like positioning, brand strategy, and customer personas into clear, actionable steps. Use it to deepen your understanding and get inspired for your own campaigns. The next thing that I want to talk about as it relates to your campaigns is the value proposition. Now, a value proposition explains why a customer should buy your product or service. It can be short and direct or more detailed, but everyone on the team should be clear on one thing. What value are we offering, and why is it better than the alternative? A strong value proposition speaks directly to your audience's wants and needs and makes the benefit of choosing your brand obvious. The formula presented here will help you craft a clear, compelling value proposition. For your target audience who wants a specific need or desire, we offer a product or service that solves that need. Instead of a less effective competitor, we deliver a meaningful emotional benefit. It's a simple way to connect what you offer to what your audience truly values. Refer to page 32 for a specific example you can use as a guide. Or the next thing I want to focus on is parody products. Now, a parody product is one that's very similar to others in the same industry. You want to ask yourself, is your product equivalent to what your competitors offer? This creates a level playing field. No brand has a monopoly, and it's common in markets like toothpaste or bottled water. The challenge is consumers may see all the brands as interchangeable, which makes differentiation even more important. So essentially, if you're in a market like the toothpaste industry, if you were to develop a new toothpaste brand, what would you do to make your brand stand out? Sometimes your team might be called in to help with repositioning or rebranding. Now, there might be several reasons for this. Maybe society or the market has shifted, competitors have evolved, or the brand has faced a crisis or negative press. It could also be a matter of losing relevance with today's audience. When repositioning, don't forget to consider updates to logos and packaging. A few years ago, Burger King did a big rebrand. I want you to take a moment to review their You Rule ad in the current module. As you watch, think about these key questions. Who is the ad talking to? What does the brand represent? What makes Burger King unique in this crowded market? Fast food. What do you find significant about the ad as it relates to their previous brand positioning? And most importantly, what's the big idea behind this ad? Brand identity in general includes key elements like your name, logo, tagline, and color palette. Interestingly, many brands in the same category share similar colors, like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. They all use red and yellow, even though each brand is unique. Why do you think these brands choose these colors? Think about the emotions and messages colors can evoke for consumers. Now, color theorists believe colors carry powerful meanings. For example, red is often associated with heat, energy, and excitement. Yellow tends to evoke feelings of happiness, optimism, and warmth. These associations help brands connect emotionally with their audiences through color choices. As you continue to work through your campaigns this week, I want you to think about the category your products or service fall into. Products in general fall into different categories based on how consumers buy them. Convenience goods are everyday items like laundry detergent. They are easy to find and buy. Shopping goods are items like electronics, where consumers spend more time comparing options. Specialty goods include high end clothing or luxury cars. These are products people seek out specifically, and unsought goods are products consumers may not know about and don't usually think about, like certain gadgets or funeral services. Understanding these categories will help shape marketing strategies. See you next week.